So I popped out on Twitter. I saw a poll. It said, of the 4 characters here, who would win in a free-for-all? Useless Mid, Zoro, Law, and Katakuri. Obviously, I had some thoughts on that, and that's why this video is here. But what I'm gonna do is, I'm not a power scaler by any means. I'm gonna just go over all the disadvantages and advantages each character has, and have you come to the conclusion on your own. Without further ado, let's hop right in. Okay, let's start with Eustace Kid. I know I called him mid before. I don't actually mean it. Granted, I did want more from him, from Wano. All right, let's start with what he got to offer, right? So he has high durability. He's getting thrashed on by Yonko, while also having to deal with Basil Hawkins straw man in this for like, I don't know, a couple chapters at least. He also has Conqueror's Haki, which is cool, but he don't really got it like that, to be honest. He has it, but we ain't seen him do anything too crazy with it, especially with the current chapters. He's not having a good time right now. He also has the Jiki Jiki no Mi's Awaken form, where he can assign polarity to people and objects, which I thought that was really hard. It's OD. Just imagine, he's scrapping in this hypothetical 4-way. He hits one of these two with south and then north on the other person. They're having a little thing right there. They're stuck, at least for a little bit. I would hope so. And in this scenario, everybody uses a metal weapon. He can use his magnetism to kind of pull him away, I guess. But then we have to go over the disadvantages, right? This man has to gather metal to increase his power. Because you saw it during Wano, dude was just running through Onigashima looking for metal the entire time. But that crazy stuff he's able to do is OD. The freaking laser, granted it does take time to charge, but it is crazy. He's actually kind of slow in speed. I haven't seen this man like speed blitz anybody. He's dashing all the time and he's on foot half the time when I see him actually running. And once again, he has Conqueror's Haki, but all we've seen him do with it is kind of slump a person that was kind of fodder. And he doesn't have any coding or anything like that, but just Eustace, I understand why they call him mid. That's all I gotta say about this man. And then he has a possibility of his magnetism being negated by individuals with strong haki, which is shown with Law. When he was hit with the Sick Fruit by Doc Q, he basically just raised his haki to a point where he just undid it. Maybe they could just do that. Honestly, everybody on this hypothetical scenario has incredible haki. So we got Zoro, Katakuri, and Law. These niggas are crazy, but to Kid's credit, you need 2v1 to Yonko and tank whatever this is. Any nigga willing to do that, different breed entirely. Next up, we move on to the King of Hell himself, Roronoa Zoro. For his advantages, I have that he also has Conqueror's Haki. He wields Enma, which is overpowered. He has a high attack potency, and he can control all 3 of his swords in armament haki, and he's extremely durable. I have him being more durable than Kid because during the battle with Big Mom and Kaido on the rooftop, he was able to tank Ocean Sovereignty, a huge attack. It was a Big Mom Kaido power duo, super slap him up, big bomb beam, basically. For his disadvantages, Zoro's incredibly reckless. This man, directly after taking that attack, broke almost, like almost every bone in his body just from that alone. And he tends to do just the most wild out-of-pocket stuff for no reason. I have not seen Zoro in good condition before starting a match in such a long time. He shows up in a beat up state and then he comes back and just bodies whoever he's going against. It's that hatred towards other races that's really powering this man. We know you colored, you may not have the best times in Zoro. I can't front. Then after Chopper feeds him a super recovery perk, he pops back up and then goes after King. and then is on death's door again. And he just drinks it off like nothing happened. The man's a demon. Also, another disadvantage, he doesn't have a devil fruit, but that hasn't stopped him before. He's been folding devil fruit users since frame 1. And he's really bad with directions. I just wanted to put that in there. Dude's garbage at direction. He don't know where he's going. All in all, Zoro's biggest downfall in this matchup would be the effects of the other devil fruit users all going at the same time, possibly, or just he has a lot of single target moves. Yeah, he has aerial attacks. He also has Black Robe Dragon Twister. He's got Deadman Gambit. He's got all these crazy moves, Ashura. But if it's 3 opponents rushing in, we don't know what the situation may be. Let's say people start ganging up on each other. There are stray moves hitting all over the place. Everybody in this matchup has an awakened devil fruit. Seems like Zoro's the only one left the most vulnerable here because he doesn't have a lot of room to work with. You got magnetism. You have the Opie no Mi, which I haven't even gotten into, but it's disgusting. And then you have Katakuri. He's nice, but we haven't seen him in a bit. He also can turn the entire area into mochi. That is also a big issue. If he's Zoro's just chilling here, he's got to run up on somebody. The entire ground's mochi. What is he doing? He's bubbling here. Not to mention, Katakuri was a Luffy opponent. He fought Luffy. He didn't fight anybody else. They specifically didn't bring Zoro. For what reason, I have no idea. They just kind of wanted to grab Sanji and Whole Cake, if I remember correctly. But that's enough on Zoro. Let's go ahead and move on to the next person. Charlotte Katakuri. So this man is cracked. However, we have not seen him fight since Whole Cake Island. Well, technically, we have seen him in a cover story being drugged by Caesar Clown into punching his own brother. We don't talk about that, all right? His advantages are he has high durability. I mean, you have to if you're going toe-to-toe with Luffy at arguably one of his, I wouldn't say it was his toughest fight, but it's up there. He has Conqueror's Haki, and he has the Mochi Mochi no Mi, which lets him turn himself into Mochi and manipulate Mochi. He has an Awakened Devil Fruit, so he can turn the entire environment into Mochi. Also has a Trident, which he hides in his freaking arm. He's mastered Future Sight to the point where he makes it look like his Paramecia is a Logia, which is very nice, but he relies too much on his Future Sight, a disadvantage I didn't add up here. But for his disadvantages, we haven't seen him fight against anyone else but Snake Man Luffy, which was the Speed Blitz form of probably one of the worst Luffy transformations. I hate Bounce Man so much. It's just because he comes out and gets dog walked. His Future Sight can also be bypassed by speed. We saw this back when Katakuri was about to snipe Sanji with a jelly bean. And my man just zoop, he's gone. He zips out of the way, misses completely. I'm one of the people who believe that without Flampe's intervention, Luffy would have had a harder time beating Katakuri. He ultimately still would have won because he's Luffy. He's the main character. He has to win. Eventually, he'd overcome the Future Sight and everything, and then he'd pop out with Snake Man. The same result. I'd say the biggest issues in this battle for Katakuri specifically is if he leans in too much on his Future Sight, he'll still get tagged by Zoro or Law, especially Law. Law is by far the fastest one out of everyone in this group. But Katakuri, I don't think he'll have a problem with Kid as much. But the main issue is we don't see anything past Whole Cake besides a cover story for this man. We don't know what he's been on. We don't know how strong he's gotten. Until we see that for certain, that'll decide how I feel about him in this matchup. Because Zoro, you see him, he's fighting This man Lucci, you see Eustace try to fight Shanks, and then you also see this man Law go up against Blackbeard. But out of the craziest things we could have seen, we see Katakuri take down a Yonko before he becomes a Yonko. But that's kind of like a temporary thing because he ultimately gets clocked and he's cooked. And you don't see him again for a while. Last but certainly not least, we have the Surgeon of Death, Trafalgar Water D. Law. This is cracked. For real cracked. Said Katakuri was cracked, this man's broken. His advantages are very crafty. If you've seen him use Room, he'll pick up rocks, he'll teleport through people, because the way his Devil Fruit works is, that's his second advantage. He has broken Devil Fruit. The Opi Opi no Mi allows this man to create a space where he can manipulate anything within it. He's able to cut people in half. It turns that area into his own personal operating table. You watch One Piece, you know this already. He's broken. He's able to teleport within it. He's actually able to expand the range of it to an insane degree, which is how he was able to teleport onto Onigashima along with the samurai that were with him. And his Devil Fruit is awakened, and he has the ability to apply his Room effect onto his sword. That allows him to use moves like Kroom, which when he stabs somebody with it initially, they don't feel anything. It's kind of like getting a needle, and then he can do internal damage. He is incredibly fast, and that's thanks to his ability to, warp in between areas with rocks and things he finds within his room. This applies within his room. Without Room, he has to run at normal speed, but if he's able to make Room big enough, he's cooking in there. Also, majority of his attacks deal internal damage. He has Gamma Knife, Puncture Wily, and Counter Shock. As well as if he hits you with his sword when it's applied with the Room effect, he's able to stab you at any range and then internally damage you with electricity. His disadvantages are, he doesn't have the best durability. His recent fight with Blackbeard kind of put him in a very negative light. Granted, he was ambushed by the Blackbeard pirates, but his powers can't really help him in situations like those, where it's a out of nowhere assault, got people warping all over the place, and Blackbeard was just not the good opponent in this situation. He has the Quake Fruit mixed with the freaking, he has two Devil Fruits, mixed Haki into the Quake Fruit and did those crazy punches and everything. And then at the end of the fight, he uses the Yami Yami no Mi with the freaking black hole, which there was just no way he was gonna win that fight. They put him up against the wrong opponent in that situation. He's also the only person in this scenario without Conqueror's Haki, which does place him at a disadvantage, but the way his Devil Fruit works kind of counteracts it to a degree. It makes up for his shortcomings. Law's powers also don't work on people with incredibly strong Haki. So Big Mom, Kaido were not able to be moved by Room, and it's just because they're monsters. They're actually crazy. They're top tiers. They are Yonko for a reason, but he's able to get around specific attacks they do. He's able to evade and things like that. And Room also requires setup. He doesn't just place his hand out and it's just there. I mean, granted, it's not a large startup time. He just puts his arm out, says Room, and you see a big dome form. And that dome shape gives him so much area to work with that the thing is, Law's powers, once again, don't work on people if their Haki's too strong. But the big caveat on this is this man has moved two of these people already that are in the scenario. He switched places with Zoro. He's helped Zoro get higher to shoot off that big slash he was going to hit Kaido with, but it missed and hit the rooftop, the horn on the rooftop or whatever. And he's switched places with Kid in order to land a Gamma Knife on this man Kaido on the rooftop. Those factors kind of make his ability so broken that it's kind of a stomp, low key. If somebody manages to catch him with a very strong move though, he's kind of cooked. To end this part, I see Law as more of a glass cannon. He's got a lot to his kit and he's basically untouchable while in room. But if he's clipped by a stray attack or somebody hits him directly with something insane, there's a high chance he won't get back up from it. Well, you've made it to the end. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments on who wins this. And I normally don't make videos like this. This is my first time trying it out. Let me know how I did. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and that's all I gotta say. Have a nice one.